Do I have a second on that?
I recommend they appoint someone. If they appoint someone to take Hillary's place.
Mr. Chair?
Yep.
Ms. Bird, who is they? The City of Clueston Commission or the TDC?
The TDC.
We can appoint someone if she's on the city council. If they recommend her from the city to represent the TDC, then the TDC can take letters to accept the at-large that she had at the chamber. There's plenty of people over there to do that. And she's gonna be there, and she does a great job.
So do the commissioner have to make that decision, or can the TDC make that?
No, the city has to appoint a person for that position. After they appoint them, then the TDC goes out and gets another person from Clueston to fill the vacancy.
And that's why he said let it stay like it was.
Yes.
That's actually incorrect. So, but I'll let the county attorney fix that.
So the city commission makes a recommendation of who they want from their commission to be on the council.
TDC approved.
And
we approve it.
we just
No,
say,
And then,
the board approves.
and then it comes to the board of county commissioners to take the final action.
yeah, but nobody ever turns it down.
True, but it is a city of Clueston commission recommendation about who they want their representative to be. That's the first step. That comes to you, and you usually approve it. And then when a tourist industry rep position becomes vacant, I understand that TDC members may have some opinions about good replacements. I think staff usually think about it and talk about it. And then ultimately there's an agenda item that comes to you to say, here's a recommendation to fill a tourist industry spot, and then you act on that. So that's how it goes. So if I'm understanding, which is the motion having failed, then the way it would proceed is the city of Clueston would meet at their next meeting, and they would decide who they want to recommend to be their representative. They could choose Ms. Highslope, and if they did, that would come to you, and you would confirm she's the city rep, and then you have a tourist industry spot to fill. Or they might put forward somebody else, a current commissioner other than her, and they would recommend that to you, and that would come to you to say, okay, we agree with that, or we don't. Or you could say, we agree with that, but in light of that, and Ms. Highslope has to come off, and you're going to ask for her resignation, or you're going to remove her by just your vote. And then you have a tourist industry spot to fill.
If you have two city commissioners, all that other paperwork, you might as well tear it up, start over again. Forget about it. Because when it says 1, 1, 1, it don't say 2, 1, 1.
One thing you're going to have, though, just if you would have what Ms. Harris says, but if it played out with Ms. Highslope staying on as a, let's start that. If Ms. Highslope became the city rep, and then you filled her old spot with another tourist industry rep, you would have 7 tourist industry reps. You'd have the 6 people who are just tourist industry people. You'd have Ms. Highslope. She's a tourist industry rep too. She has 2 hats, and so she would go over the 6, and she'd be the 7th tourist industry rep, in addition to being the city industry rep.
So in our code, it says 1 member shall be a member of the city commission for the city of Clueston. It does not say only 1 member. It says 1 member shall be.
They don't say 2.
You can twist it however you want to, but it says 1. You can turn that joker upside down and read it if you want to, but it says.
Well, I'm going to go on the advice of legal counsel.
Legal counsel, I'm not.
We don't have to make a vote, we have to make an opinion on this tonight anyway, so.
So I think the city of Clueston will take their action, and they'll come to you, and then we'll
That's
go from
probably where it
there.
needs to go anyway, let them make their choice, and I don't need to tell Clueston how to run their business. I mean, I shouldn't be getting involved in their day-to-day operations.
Well, but it's ultimately your decision.
But it will come from there. That's, we depend on city staff and Clueston to do what they need to do, and then we'll go from there. That's my opinion. All right, anyone from the public I would like to address the board tonight? Open the floor. Seeing none, Mr. Iglesias.
Hey, Shane, I'm not gonna ask you about Monterey. How about Birchwood and Carefree? I know we talked about that, with that intersection, I just went by there again, and it's really looking rough.
For the record, Shane Parker, no, we haven't worked on it yet. We're working on 4E and Cowboy Way, some other spots on 4E and Helms. Now we're on 833 working at Powerline Grade, but it's in the works to do. We just don't have a time frame for you.
Okay. Then also, I want to thank you again and your staff. And I sent Jennifer and yourself an email. This past month, I witnessed his staff repairing some roads in Hendry County. They're on the by Vallejos and a water main break on WCO. And I parked probably 20, 30 yards away and watched them for a while before I went up on scene. Because, of course, if I show up on scene, they're going to do a better job, right? And I got to tell you, spot on. Those guys on the WCO project, they were there till 9, never complained about having no food. They had drinks. Dave Chapman was in the hole with them, doing what they need to do to get that repair done for the city. And I appreciate you and your staff.
No problem, I'll pass the word on. They are good folks.
That's all, Jim.
Ms. Bird? Mr. Harris?
Shane, I forgot to ask you about the creeks. Did you forget about it?
No, sir, I haven't forgot about
It's not gonna do it.
Okay. We have no funding from FEMA at all. We're gonna have to do it in-house unless we can find a grant.
You ain't doing it in-house. Not until we have a budget estimate, we know exactly what's being done, because I need at least three things cleaned up in Flagler before we jump on some creeks that weren't even messed up until after a hurricane. So yeah, we want to play that game. I'm all about it. If creeks get cleaned, I'm gonna lose my mind publicly and privately. Just letting you know. There will be vandalism occurring to county stuff, and I will be the vandalism. Just letting you know.
You're being recorded, by the way.
100%. Put it on the World Wide Web.
You two commissioners can get out, but we have no funding. There's no funding.
That's good. That's fine.
I'll get you back in a little bit. Okay. Mr. Sarah?
I'm good.
Come on back then for turn I spoke with Miss Ella just a little bit today about the road going into Wheeler Estates. And we talked about the entire county of, buses and different stuff. We're just gonna run one out there and pick them up and bring them to town too, so they can get here without going all the way through Lehigh and everything else. How are we gonna fix that? Just thought I'd ask that question.
Yeah, we got no money for a road to go north, but,
Can we find some for road to go north and maybe we won't clean the creeks?
Maybe, I don't know.
Well, these are Hendry County constituents, and I am kind of, poking fun at them a little bit. This is something I've been asking for 4 years now, and we've got to get something done in that area. We got to move that from priority from 10 or 15. It's got to come up the ladder.
Mr. Chair, can you give us a 3-minute version of what you're saying? I think I know exactly what you're saying, but I'd love to hear it from both of y'all, what the request is right now.
The request is to get Hendry County constituents on the south or the west side of the canal out there, town of the canal, where they can go to their home without having to go to Lee County through Lehigh Acres to do it.
Yes, sir.
They've never had that ability. Now, Mr. Parker's done an amazing job. Him and Miss Simmons on getting the mail out there, and the postmaster, Michelle Smith, they're finally getting their mail there, which has never been done. But this is something that we really need to bring them into Hendry County. They pay Hendry County taxes. Everything they pay is Hendry County. And they cannot go home, or they cannot leave their home without going through Joel Boulevard. And then that means the sheriff's department, they've got to go all the way around to get to them. Thank goodness the Lee County EMS and everything is pitching in to help do that. But, in all seriousness, that's something that needs to be fixed. They are Hendry County constituents.
Could we have, Ms. Davis, could we have 3 PowerPoint slide, next board meeting, show us what we're talking about, show us different options that are there. And obviously we don't need a budgetary analysis right out the gate, but you're gonna be able to throw numbers at the wall, and you're gonna know exactly what you're talking about there. Mr. Chair.
and I can give you an update on some of the things that occurred lately.
Maybe go ahead and do that. Yeah.
Okay.
Property owners in South Florida.
And I've heard this, I just like to forward it. Like I said, I'm poking a little fun, but on the same token, I said we gotta get the priority up to level.
But the main thing's roads, right?
It is just a road, well, it's just right of ways, there's, when she'll explain
I
that.
know
to
the
you.
district's on board.
All right, on, one problem with Wheeler Road is we do have access from 80 going south a little ways, but it's on Townsend Canal grade. The problem is if you pave that road, you don't pave it and you don't construct it to Green Book standards, you have a 1-to-1 slope of the Townsend Canal. That's just a lawsuit waiting to happen. You need guardrail and such.
Where,
South Florida Water guardrail,
yeah,
down the side of town. South Florida Water Management District contacted me about sheet piling for the reservoir going to have to put in along the Townsend Canal grade. They want to go over MOT, and they sent some plans this week for me to review. What they want to do is they want to cut the road grade and lower it, and they want to put the sheet piling in. Want to know if I have objections? And I'm like, no, I don't have any, but I want you to put a guardrail up to keep them from going into the canal. And while you're at it, can you pave and bring it to Green Book standards so that we can actually have a functional roadway that would be safe for residents, and that would give us a good distance southward.
Just for the record, I don't know, I mean, you're probably are aware, but just like the final phase of that job was $450 million. You know, how many miles are you talking about?
No. Maybe 3/4.
3/4 of a mile?
3/4 to, I can't remember.
So it's $1 million a mile to pave road, just off the hip.
And they're gonna,
You know, we're talking about a rounding error in the grand scheme of things.
they're gonna cut the grade, they're gonna lower the grade of the road, as long as it's okay, that's fine. They're going to, they're discussing about paving it, discussing the guardrail. Like I said, I've got plans this weekend that came in of what they wanna do, final, weigh in and comment on. That was from the South Florida Water Management District, their manager over there at the Reservoir Project. And then, SoFlo Ag contacted me and said, hey, my neighbors seem to be upset because I'm blocking the road going north. And I'm like, well, I'm gonna go around you and go through their house or the other way to environmentally sensitive areas. And they said, well, I don't want it to be a problem. So talk to him about the possibility of getting easement from the landowners going east-west and then buying a strip of land from him that's his current, that he purchased for access, which is like 30, 50 feet wide paved. If we could get that, then that would, from Townsend Canal being reconstructed, we could get through SoFlo Ag to the south. And then there's just a few easements to connect it. That we
if you
need.
go through Townsend Canal, you wind up right in Wheeler State.
Close, we'll be a lot closer. The problem is when you go north, Wheeler Road, Townsend Canal grade has to be reconstructed to some kind of Green Book standards where you're not going into the canal. That's
It's a bad deal.
and the road grade is smooth, but you pave it, they go faster, they go in the canal, that's losses.
It's made for one car.
Well, if
So,
they won't pave it, just tell them no on their request.
but the good news is there's progress being made.
Yeah, and I understand, like I said, I understand all that, because this has been something, I mean, they didn't just get annexed into Hendry County.
No.
They've been there from the get, and that I
Mr. Chair, are
heard
you good with that? Are you good with that then? Let's, I mean, a
absolutely, yeah.
small presentation and bring us back
I'm just asking.
scenarios, and obviously you're gonna be reviewing, but I think, you know, I think this is potentially an easy win for the county.
Absolutely, well, that's, I mean, we, like I said, I'm just asking if you pushed up to the forefront for them, actually.
Mr. Chair, because of something that you brought up with regards to getting the postmaster out there, have we had any movement on getting coverage or a re-roof on our facility in Pioneer and coverage over the one in Ladika and then others throughout the county?
Okay, a few comments on that. Reached out to Ruth Knoll on the 9th of March. No, reached out to her, she responded on the 9th. She's trying to get me an answer from her superiors.
Yes.
Because the guidelines that are quoting are from 2017, you know, boxes were constructed beforehand. Also, has this bird rate about, you know, who gives the key when you need one, waiting on a response back. She's not blowing me off, she's been busy, but she has been corresponding with me. You can't put a structure over every one of the boxes, because I showed Ms. Bird one example in my original's construction's office. There's one right in front of the stop sign.
Yeah.
We couldn't block that.
But that's weird because I've never had a complaint about that one.
Right.
Ladika, you know, is
And the one,
routinely.
and the one by Mr. Rich's office actually had someone put some, like, firecrackers and DAs, blew it apart. It's like a V.
On the drawers going
I
for
did the whole thing, there's no drawers there, it's just a V. So asked her, you know, can we take it out? How am I taking it out? You declare surplus. What's the protocol we use? I sent her a couple different examples. Sent her the one, said, here's the one in Montura. It's just like the one in Pioneer. What can we do?
Well, and then Montura is an issue where you have it growing like a weed, and how are we gonna be able to meet that demand with getting more boxes out there if we can't fix what we have? So, you know, those are all things I think that we need to make that a little bit more front burner in the discussion as well.
To boot, you know, they're saying they don't wanna maintain them, but Mr. Wills has got, they're gonna put the mailboxes in Lee County for Wheeler Road, but they're saying they're gonna maintain them, so.
It's their boxes. When you asked about keys earlier, those keys come from the postmaster.
And then that's their responsibility.
Yes, ma'am, the boxes come from the post office. They buy the boxes. They're paid to have the boxes installed. They did every bit of the work. And we are getting the letter to confirm they said they're doing all the maintenance on them. So I think you'll run down the line when you find the rest of these boxes, you're gonna find the same scenario.
There's
There's not a HOA in place here.
Once you get that letter, now they've set a precedent, so now we can backtrack it.
You're welcome.
All
I
right.
got you a letter, give me a road.
Mitch, how many homes were mobile or homes?
Wow, I don't know the number about, I know they're steady going, just like Fort LaBelle, they're starting to blow up. But a lot of the questions are being asked, truthfully, is, you know, you talked about a road, what's the, you know, where were you at with it?
Because now they do everything in Lee County. If there's a road through there, they come this way.
Well, it'd be easier for them to get here, for
Well,
sure.
yeah, they gotta come this way in.
Absolutely, they're paying to come here, so. Mr. Parker, the last thing, and thank you for all that, the last thing is, did you ever get in touch with anyone about the lighting on Cowboy Way?
I've not spoke to the city. I've got maps made out where the lights need to go, but I haven't looked up further.
It's bad.
I
And
understand.
when you head home and not just kind of ride through there, and with the park being wide open right now, you know, with the Little League and everything going on, there's a lot of foot traffic.
And the maps that I was talking about was only for Lillian.
Okay, now what I was asking about, you know, not only Lillian, but Cowboy Way, there's little lights, they, a flashlight puts out more light than that. I don't know why they put those in there.
That I don't know.
I've reached out to Gary, I haven't gotten him, which I realize he's had surgery and kind of out of commission, but I haven't gotten a response back, so, I was just curious if you had heard anything back on that. Okay, thank you, Mr. Parker.
Mr. Chair. I just wanted to thank everybody that worked with the CARE Act. You know, it's been rough, dealing with people, but I just needed to acknowledge and say thank you, because I was that phone in their flesh. So, but I want to let them know that the people did respond, and I know they appreciated it, was a little impatient, but I know you had to dig a little harder for some of the things, but I just want to say thank you on their behalf.
Spoke with, Mr. Rubio's office Thursday, he was, they were inquiring about the CARES, and they're gonna be coming to the area. They wanted us to be aware they would be in the area soon. They said with all the COVID, they haven't been out of the office, but they will be coming soon. They're gonna be reaching out and set up, I asked them to actually reach out and set up, you know, individual meetings with each of us. We'd actually had, I met him a year or so ago, but we didn't have time to talk. So if you're gonna be in the area, the more ear time we get, the better. There's some things this way. That was good as well. I did talk to the Secretary of DOT, Shane, he jumped all over that down there at 82 and 29, that was amazing. He jumped on that with both feet. The next day, traffic was flowing through there. So I haven't been able to respond back to him, but if you do talk to him, let him know we appreciate that as well. So, that's it. Meeting adjourned. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair.